Welcome back to Trucking the Seven Seas. This is episode number 57, and in this episode, we're going to go over week 5 and 6 of the Landstar Owner-Operator Program. For this episode, we are going to cover 2 weeks, unlike the normal 1 week I said I was going to cover, because once again, I fell very far behind on filming. The reason I fell so far behind is because, well, booking loads is actually taking an extremely long time, as you're going to see in this video. So I was spending a lot of time just booking loads, and as a result, I just fell way behind in editing again. So I wasn't able to get basically the last week's episode pumped out fast enough. And as a result, I realized by the time I was going to pump out week 5's episode, it was so close to week 6 that I just decided, I'm just going to combine the 2 weeks. So we're going to cover week 5 and 6 in this episode. You'll also probably notice I'm not doing this in the normal setting in the truck. I'm currently in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm staying at the Excalibur Casino. And I'm staying here because I brought my truck into the Freightliner shop. So the ABS issue that I've been dealing with over the last few months came back. So the ABS lights started to come on and off in Texas and the Midwest. And yeah, so I had to bring it in. And while I was in Texas in the Midwest, I finally found out what the problem was. So when I was in Oregon, that's when it originally came on. So the ABS light came on in Klamath Falls, Oregon. And then it came on again in California. And it just came on again in Houston, and then after Houston, it was kind of coming on over the next couple of days, and I finally realized that in Oregon it was raining, and then in California when I was there it was also raining, and then here in Houston there was a torrential downpour. It was raining then too, and then basically it was just raining a lot when they came on, and that's when I realized, oh, water was getting into the ABS sensor. So this occurred to me earlier this week, and got through Houston, got through Indiana and all that, and it was kind of intermittently raining, and it was intermittently raining causing the sensor to intermittently come on and off, and it wasn't until later on that I finally realized it was water getting into the sensor. So we're currently in Las Vegas, and I brought it into the Freightliner shop, and we're getting it worked on, so we're going to have them replace basically the ABS wiring harness, because I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And we also had the ABS sensor replaced. So when I was in Houston, after it started coming on and on, I just said, all right, let's try replacing the ABS sensor. So that's what I did. I just had it replaced, but it kept coming on because that wasn't the problem. And it was later on that I realized, okay, water is probably getting into the wiring harness. So we brought it into the Freightliner shop out here in Las Vegas. And I also need to get my governor removed, so that wasn't removed either. So I forgot to have Night Transportation remove my governor before I left there. So yeah, we're gonna have the Freightliner shop remove the governor. You have to bring it to a Freightliner shop because Night Transportation and Swift Transportation have like a special deal with Freightliner where only they will remove the governor. So because it's a former Night truck, I gotta have them remove it. But yeah, so that's what's going on. I brought it to the Freightliner shop. I don't have a load till tomorrow. So yeah, I brought it there, and then I just decided, the Excalibur had some pretty cheap hotels, so I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna go get a hotel at the Excalibur. So that's what I'm doing right now. And for all the time I lived in Vegas, I think I've only stayed in one of these hotels like twice in my adult life. So this is actually like the second time I think I'm ever staying in one of these hotels. So that's interesting. Yeah, so that's just a general update of what's been going on and why this video is a little late. Basically, we're gonna cover 2 weeks in this episode. And last episode, we left off in Huntsville, Texas, so we were dropping a load in Houston, Texas. And then after Houston, Texas, I booked a load going from Houston, Texas, and heading up to Norton Shores, Michigan. So we're going to go ahead and go to Norton Shores, Michigan. Let's go. All right, back into the Norton Shores facility here. I got a haircut on the way. My beard was starting to get into my mouth, which was really annoying. So got a haircut. And now, so I still haven't booked a load. So we're in this door here. And I was trying to get to Reno. So that way I could go take my hazmat test and see some family and do all that good stuff. But it doesn't look like that's working out. I just haven't found any reasonable loads. So where does that leave me? So my plan, to maybe run like a square around the U.S. from like Sacramento to L.A. to Texas to Illinois to back to Reno or Sacramento area. It's not looking good. Hold on. No, we're fine. Okay. Thought they were waving me down. Yeah, it's not looking good because I can't particularly find loads going to Reno for a reasonable price. There were a couple that popped up for like $1.80 per mile, which I could do. You know, I could do that. Like, I could just run that, and that's my, that's my low-paying route load, I guess. Because from like Illinois to Reno would pay badly, but then once I'm in Sacramento area and I head down to Los Angeles, it should be okay, right? I would think it'd be a lot better. So, and then from Los Angeles to like Texas, it pays pretty well, and then from Texas to Illinois, it pays good as well. So I could do that anyway, and just like kind of okay, that's the bad portion of my runs here, which I might do. I'm not sure, but yeah. But that's it right now. I'm gonna look for some loads right now, and then we're gonna go wherever we can. So let's try to find a load. Okay, I'm not finding too much heading to the Reno area, which is where I want to go. So this load is coming up right next to me, just a few miles down the road, and headed to Wellington, Ohio, which is Cleveland. Picks today, right about now, drops in a few hours. So I could do that one. And I think I'm going to go ahead and see if this one's available. And then this afternoon or tomorrow, try to find a better load that gets me through the weekend. But right now, nothing's popping. So let's try this. Hi, Rob. This is Tim with Landstar. I was calling about your load going from Shelby, Michigan to Wellington, Ohio. Okay. Picks up at 9, delivers before 2. Yeah, I'm like a half hour away from the pickup location, so if it's still available, I can take it for you. Okay. Thank you. Bye. All right, so I got this load that just came up a few minutes ago. Picks up anytime today in kind of Chicago area, a little south of it. So a little bit of deadheading, about 150 miles or something like that. And delivers on the 21st, pretty much any time in Fresno. So I could do that. It does take me along Reno, so I could stop in and see some family and do all that. It doesn't pay very well, so it's $1.80 per mile. Which, if I'm looking at it from a cold hard calculated standpoint, that's not a smart load to take. But it does kind of fulfill what I'm trying to do with the square. And part of me just wants to carry out this plan of doing my square around the country. Here's another one that just popped. But that's in Wisconsin. Not as good. Part of me just wants to carry out my plan of just do the square around the country and see how it paid. Like, $1.80 per mile. My take home is going to be like $1.45, $1.40, something like that, which is bad. It is a super long load though, so I got that going for me. And I don't know. I mean, this would be, if I did carry out this plan of doing the square around the country, it would allow me to see all family members. I get to stop in, do laundry and all that good stuff. But this leg right here from, the Midwest to basically California would be the worst leg of the load by far. From Sacramento or from Los Angeles to Texas, it's really good. From Texas to Illinois, really good. It's just this Illinois to Reno, it's not so good, right? But this load does get me through the weekend, and it has an extra day in there, so I'd probably be able to get an extra day at family. And maybe I'm going to ask, so I think I'm going to try this one. I'm going to ask if I can get like, hey, can I deliver on the 22nd maybe? And see if maybe I can get a couple days there, which would be kind of nice. Take a couple days off. I don't know. So let's give it a shot. From a cold hard calculated standpoint, this is not the best load to take by far. I could definitely get a better load for probably 2 something a mile. But this does get me, this carries out my plan. And I think I'm going to try it. And it's not the most profitable way of running, but this is the only bad leg of this plan I'm roughly trying to execute. So let's give this number a call and let's potentially book this load. Hi, George. This is Tim with Landstar. I'm calling about your load going from Kankakee, Illinois to Fresno, California. Is that one still available? California, Fresno, California. Thank you. All right, bye-bye. Covered. Okay, so this one has actually been on the load board for the past few days. Pickup time is already come and gone, or it's about to. Not great. It's fairly close to me, so it's in Chicago. I'm up here just
Yeah, just kind of right. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, Grand Haven. There, where I am, North Shore. So I'm right there. So not too much deadhead. About 150 miles. So it doesn't pay good. Pays not great. It is a very long load that gets me through the weekend and does kind of fulfill my plan for this week. And I kind of just want to fulfill my plan for the week and just see how it goes, right? So I think I'm going to try to call this one and see what happens. It's been up for a few days. I'm guessing it's already covered, but let's see what happens. And if it's available, I'm going to try to get obviously the pickup time pushed back, and then I'm also going to try to get the delivery time pushed back, because if I can reset at family's house along the 80, then that would be ideal. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to push it back I'm gonna try to have it pushed back till the 21st, and let's see what they say on that. But it's probably already covered. Hi, this is Tim with Landstar. I was calling about your load going from Portage, Indiana to Yerington, Nevada. Is that still available? Yeah, the load number on Landstar is... Okay, no problem. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hi, I was calling about your load going from Norton Shores, Michigan to Clinton, Tennessee. Is that still available? Okay, can you find out if I can pick it up earlier, by the way, because I'm in Norton Shores right now. Hi, I'm calling about your load going from Grandville, Michigan to Morris, Illinois. Is that still available? Tim. Yeah, I'm a BCO. Sorry, I'm with Landstar. Okay, I think I've talked to you a couple of times this morning. What loads do you have currently leaving the Grand Rapids area? Because I think I've already talked to you a couple of times that you have available. Okay, yeah, save my number, and if you got something this morning, just give me a call, okay? Thanks, sir. Bye-bye. Okay, so it looks like I may have found an emergency load that needs to get shipped, so an agent is in a hurry. So it picks up at 10, which is 20 minutes from now. I'm about 30 minutes from the pickup, so he's not going to do much better than that. It picks up in Montague, Michigan, drops in Grand Rapids, Michigan at 2, and then it's a 2-stopper. So then after that, I go to Chicago, Illinois. So I can do that. We'll see what he says. Obviously, I don't love going to Chicago, but then I'll be in Chicago, at 6 a.m. tomorrow. And that should be, I should be able to get a load real quick out of there. So that's the plan. I can do it. Not loving it. And then, tomorrow is Friday, by the way. So the 17th is Friday. So on Friday, I'll be in Chicago, which is a very good area, and I should be able to go pretty much where I need to go. So we'll find something probably tomorrow morning. So I'm going to try this shorty, see what he says, and we'll go from there. So he's checking on the load right now to see if the shipper is okay with me being like 10 minutes late. Okay. See what he says there. Yeah, so if I can pick it up, I'll do it, and then I'll drop it tomorrow morning, and take it from there. Let's do it.
All right, so after the Chicago load, we hit the load board, and then after about, I don't know, maybe 6 to 10 phone calls, I don't know how many, I stopped filming. It was just too much. Took a long time, took hours to find another load, but we ended up finding a load going from Fairfield, Iowa to Redding, California, and that's what you're about to see right now. So let's go ahead and watch that.
Hi, this is Tim with Landstar. I was calling about your load going from Fairfield, Iowa to Redding, California. Is it still available? Yeah, I got that. Well, I got one truck. It's just me. I did have a question. Are the pickup and drop times flexible? Because I think I may not get there on the 17th, and I need to reset sometime, probably before the 21st. Is that possible? Okay, so that should work perfect for me then. Can you give me the rundown real quick? It should work, but can you? No hazmat, no nothing. Well, why don't you do me a favor? This route is perfect for my family that lives along this route. Why don't you write my number down? Because I can definitely, I might definitely be interested in this load quite often if I'm in that area, which I should be. So if you want to, because that sounds great, man. Go ahead and do that, and as long as it's a little flexible, I'll take it. Truck is well. I got a load drop in at 6 a.m. In Chicago, and then I'll be probably just gonna deadhead over there. So they might be a little bit slow. It might be noon. It might be 2. I'm not sure. Or it is quite possible I don't get there till the next day, but that seems unlikely. So we'll say 2, but I may not get there till the 18th, which is why I was needing some flexibility on it. Yeah, I mean, I'm dropping at 6 a.m. In Chicago, and then I'm gonna beeline over there. If they take too long, I'll communicate, hey, they took too long and I can't make it. Okay. Yeah, I'll let you know if my next drop just takes too long. Okay. Okay. Yes. Thank you, sir. Okay, so I've been going through like 15 different phone calls. This is kind of difficult, not gonna lie. So maybe I should get a dispatcher. Maybe. Anyways, like I've been going through like 15 different phone calls, different loads, trying to find anything reasonable. Yeah, it's been difficult. Loads being covered and whatnot. I'm not even gonna show the phone calls; they're just consistent. So I just booked this one, and it picks up tomorrow in Fairfield, Iowa, which is about 200-mile deadhead from Chicago, which is not great. However, it goes to Redding, California, and Redding, California passes right through Reno. And I asked, you heard me ask on the phone just now, if the delivery is flexible, and he said it was super flexible, which is great. That means I can stop in and say hi to family. And he also said that this load is one they're going to be hauling a lot. So I told him to write down my number and said, hey, I might be willing to take this quite a bit. Pays $2 per mile, which is not great, but for an 1,800-mile load that goes directly where I want to go, I'll definitely do that, especially since the delivery is flexible. So, dropping this one at 6 a.m., and then I got a deadhead about 200 miles or so, give or take, to Fairfield, Iowa, and then pick it up and go. The only kind of bad situation here would be is if the delivery takes too long, but I also communicated, hey, if the delivery takes too long, I'll be late. So that's what's going on, and we're going to do that one instead. So let's go.
Dropped the load in Redding, California, passed my hazmat test on the way, and then we ended up grabbing another one, picking up in Sacramento, California, and headed to Las Vegas, Nevada. It was actually my first hazmat load, so I could finally haul those, so that was cool. However, the Las Vegas load is not going to make the paycheck, so we're going to go over the spreadsheet right now. Okay, it's spreadsheet time. Okay, so we're going to cover 2 weeks this week. As discussed earlier, we're going to cover week 5 and week 6. Couple housekeeping notes. The last episode, I had a couple of errors. So right here, the NOx sensor was not counted in the total maintenance cost. So that threw it off by $1,505.26. However, I also double counted the fuel cost, which was $1,505.16. So last episode, I counted this one twice, and didn't count this one. So last episode, somebody pointed this out, and then I also caught it, that this was not counted, and then this was counted twice. So in the end, the spreadsheet was off by 10 cents because both of those things were almost exactly the same charge. So somebody pointed that out. Thank you for pointing it out. Yeah, it only actually altered everything by about 10 cents. So that was kind of ironic. So yeah, it was off by 10 cents. But thank you for the person who pointed that out. Okay. All right, so we're going to go over week 5, and then we're going to go right into week 6, and then we're going to go over totals since starting the program. For week 5, we did 2 loads. In those 2 loads, we got 2,103 miles. We were paid a total of $3,008 for an average of $1.43 per mile. Landstar's cut was $438 for an average of 21 cents per mile. Fuel expenses were $1,099 at 52 cents per mile. We installed the ABS at the TA for $236 at 11 cents per mile. Other expenses, FWCP $72.59, card fees $3.50, truck SCN $4, escrow $66, bobtail insurance $33, license fees $369, permits $11.11, plates $32.22, OmniTrax $93.75, locks and keys $42.80, and EOBR airtime for $8.81 for a total of $373 at 18 cents per mile. Total expenses for week 5 were $1,708 at 81 cents per mile. Total revenue was $3,008 at $1.43 per mile. That brings our net settlement to $1,299 at 62 cents per mile. Okay, so that was week 5, and now we're going to go straight into week 6. For week 6, we did 3 loads. In those 3 loads, we got 3,329 miles, paid a total of $5,320 at $1.60 per mile. Landstar's cut was $2,170 at 65 cents per mile. Fuel expenses were $1,425 at 43 cents per mile. No maintenance expenses for this week. Other expenses, FWC $72, card fee $350, truck SCN $6, escrow $66, bobtail $33, license fees $33.69, permits $10.58, plates $32, EOBR airtime $8, OmniTrax $93, security keys $42, IFTA $28, and tolls $60 for a total of $463 at 14 cents per mile. Total expenses for week 6 were $1,889 at 57 cents per mile. Total revenue was $5,320 at $1.60 per mile. That brings your net settlement to $3,431 at $1.03 per mile. Total since starting the program, we have driven a total of 9,369 miles, and our total expenses were $9,567 at $1.02 per mile, and that is my cost per mile right there. Total revenue was $13,112 at $1.40 per mile. That brings our total net profit to $3,544 at 38 cents per mile. Average weekly paycheck is $590. Average weekly miles is 1,562. Total fuel costs are $4,600 at 49 cents per mile. Total maintenance costs are $2,700 at 29 cents per mile. Total other costs are $2,235 at 24 cents per mile. If we kept this up for a 52-week period, we get $30,721 and a total of 81,000 miles. Landstar has taken a total of $4,325 with their 35% cut, equating to 46 cents per mile. We've been employed 42 days or 6 weeks, taken 10 days off, 32 days on duty, taken 8 loads, and the average load length is 1,171 miles. Okay, yeah, so that was week 5 and 6. Let's just go over some housekeeping notes right now. Had a minor maintenance expense, nothing special, 11 cents per mile, and had a good week here. Running pretty hard, got 3,000 miles in, so that's good. So that really juiced this paycheck quite nicely. Yeah, that's about it actually. We're starting to get some averages and information, some averages now, but none of this is too accurate. I mean, the first month was a complete wash because I took a bunch of time off, and yeah, I was doing a bunch of weird stuff, getting my plates and whatnot, so these averages, not totally accurate, so I wouldn't believe them hardly at all, really. But we're in the green, so that's good. So we got knocked into the green. Week 5 did put us in the green, just barely with that amount right there. And then this week obviously helped a little bit more. So yeah, officially in the green, and we should start rolling pretty good. And hopefully, I don't think it's out of the out of the ordinary to average about 3,000 miles per week. When I was at night, I was averaging about 2,200 miles per week, but I couldn't choose my loads, so I was taking a lot of shorter loads. Nowadays, I'll still take the short loads, but I guess the longer loads are where I'm going to lean toward. They're better, I guess. But yeah, so that's not a half bad week if you ask me. $1.03 per mile, I'll take that. One thing to note, yeah, there is no truck payment. Truck's paid off. So if you had a truck payment, you'd need to minus whatever your truck payment is, $400, $500, $600, whatever that is. So take that into account. And yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, maintenance costs are pretty high right now because of the knock sensor last week, and then A couple other smaller things. So that's a pretty high maintenance cost. That will go down. It's not going to stay at 29 cents per mile. I highly doubt it. I do have the current maintenance things I'm doing right now. So the ABS sensor and the governor removal will take, you know, however much money. I don't know how much. It's a Freightliner shop, so it might be a little bit spendy, but oh well. So, next week that maintenance expense will probably be about 29 cents per mile again. We'll see what happens though. But either way, over time this will go down. And right now my maintenance expenses are quite high and my income is pretty low. So this should all start averaging out in the next 3, 4, 5 weeks and stuff like that. So yeah. Okay, yeah. So that is week 5 and 6. Starting to get some data behind the sheets here, so we'll keep at it. And it looks like the square I have planned to run across the country, Illinois to Reno, Reno to Southern California to Texas, Texas to Chicago area. It looks doable in hindsight. I found that load going to Reading, so that's pretty good. It pays not too bad. I mean, $209 per mile for an 1,800 mile load it's okay. I mean, it takes me exactly where I want to go, so I might get on that more often. But I'm going to try to keep doing that where I just run in a square, basically. And we're going to see how it goes. That will work very well for me. Obviously, the best way to run is just wherever, whenever, anytime. Just take all the loads to New York City and, the East Coast. But I'm probably not going to do that. So that's what we're looking at. And yeah. I think that's going to do it for this episode. I will try to post these on a weekly basis. Everything has been very hectic this past month and a half, really. So hopefully things start to settle down and I start to get in a better groove of things and post these on a regular basis. I'm not intending to post them every 2 weeks, but this one I just fell behind, and last month was just a train wreck. So yeah, I fell a whole month behind. But I think going forward, I should be able to get a little more groove going, and I think I'll post these every week. But that'll do it for this episode. Thank you for watching. If you are interested in this spreadsheet or any of the other spreadsheets I've done in the past, you can open them. They are in the About section down below. And after you open them, just hit File, Download, and then download them to a Microsoft Excel sheet. And after you download them to an Excel sheet, you can use them however you please. But that will do it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.